We have some valuable coins for you, so don't spend one of them. So watch our complete video and find your treasure. This coin could make you rich overnight. Top 1. We've got an exciting discovery that could just have you checking through your coin collection or digging through your change jar. We're diving into the world of the United States 1-cent coin from 1980. It might seem like a simple, everyday coin, but there's more to this penny than meets the eye. Stick around, because at the end, you'll find out just how much this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth today. Now, you might be wondering what makes a 1-cent coin from 1980 so special? After all, it's a coin that's been in circulation for over 4 decades. While most people toss these pennies into their pockets or the back of their drawers, some of them are actually worth a lot more than their face value. In fact, if you happen to come across the right one, you could be holding a small fortune. But before we jump to that exciting revelation, let's take a deeper look into the history and the unique features that make the 1981 cent coin stand out in the world of numismatics. In 1980, the United States was in the midst of an economic transition. The country was grappling with inflation, the energy crisis, and the aftermath of the 1970s recession. Despite these challenges, the U.S. Mint continued producing coins, including the humble 1-cent coin. This coin, which is commonly referred to as a penny, was issued as part of the ongoing series featuring the profile of Abraham Lincoln. The design, first introduced in 1909, was one of the longest running in U.S. history. The 1980 penny, like many others in its era, is made of copper-plated zinc. It features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with his profile facing right, surrounded by the inscription "In God We Trust, Liberty, and 1980." On the reverse, you'll find the image of the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of the country's history and a nod to the legacy of one of the greatest American presidents. So, what makes the 1981 cent coin so valuable? The truth is, most of these coins aren't worth much more than their face value. However, certain factors can turn a typical penny into a highly sought-after collector's item. Let's break down some of these factors. So first and foremost, the condition of the coin is crucial. The 1980 penny that has been circulated extensively and shows signs of wear and tear isn't going to fetch much more than a few cents. However, if you happen to have a 1980 penny in mint condition, it could be worth far more. Coins that are well preserved, with sharp details and minimal signs of use, are always in high demand among collectors. Some 1980 pennies have even been found in uncirculated condition, meaning they've never been used in daily transactions and have been stored carefully since they were minted. These pristine examples are the ones that attract serious collectors and could command higher prices. Beyond just being in great condition, there are some other factors that make a 1980 penny stand out. Minting errors are one of the most exciting and valuable aspects of coin collecting. If you've ever stumbled upon a coin with a noticeable flaw, such as a doubled die or a mistruck image, you could be holding a coin that's worth much more than you think. The 1980 penny has been known to have some rare minting errors, such as off-center strikes or incorrect lettering, which can cause a significant jump in its value. For example, some 1980 pennies have been found with an unusually strong double die impression. This happens when the coin's design is struck more than once, leading to an overlapping image that can be easily spotted. These errors can make a coin extremely rare and highly valuable to collectors who are looking for unusual and unique pieces to add to their collection. It's these rare variations that make the 1980 penny so intriguing and, in some cases, worth far more than just 1 cent. So, what are we talking about in terms of actual value? Well, if you happen to have one of these rare, mint condition 1980 pennies, or, even better, a penny with a minting error, you could be looking at a small fortune. Coins in top condition, with no visible damage and the sharpest of details, could fetch anywhere from $60,000 to $65,000. Yes, you heard that right, $60,000 to $65,000 for a single 1980 penny. This could make a huge difference for any coin collector or someone who just happens to have stumbled upon one of these rare gems. So, the next time you're going through your spare change, take a moment to inspect your pennies closely. You never know when you might find a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Top 2. We're going to take a deep dive into a truly intriguing coin from the United States, one that might be hiding in your collection right now. Yes, we're talking about the 1 cent coin from 1983. While most of us may overlook this humble coin, the truth is, it could be worth a small fortune. Stick around until the end, because we're about to uncover the surprising value of this seemingly ordinary piece of U.S. currency. The 1983 U.S. 1 cent coin, or penny, is far more than just a piece of everyday change. In fact, it has quite an interesting backstory that makes it special in the world of coin collectors. The United States Mint produced billions of pennies in 1983, but among them, some were minted with a rare and unique error that has captured the attention of coin enthusiasts around the world. This is a story of how one tiny coin could be worth more than its weight in gold. In 1983, the US government decided to transition the composition of the penny. Up until that point, pennies were made mostly of copper, but due to the rising cost of copper, the mint switched to a zinc core with a copper plating. However, a small batch of pennies was mistakenly minted with the old copper composition, which has made them incredibly rare today. These pennies are often referred to as copper-plated or copper pennies. The error was a result of leftover copper blanks being used in the new zinc-plated machines. The result? A small number of 1983 pennies were created with a copper core instead of the intended zinc core. This mistake has made these coins highly sought after, as they are significantly rarer than the standard 1983 zinc pennies. But you may be wondering, why is this important? Well, collectors are always on the lookout for coins that were minted under unusual circumstances. A copper penny from 1983 is a true anomaly, and its rarity is what drives its value. The vast majority of 1983 pennies are made from zinc, so finding one with a copper core is incredibly exciting for coin collectors. The fact that this error coin is so rare makes it one of the most highly prized pennies in the world. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. As with any rare coin, the condition plays a huge role in its value. Most of the 1983 copper pennies were in circulation for years, leading to wear and tear that has affected their overall appearance. However, a coin that has survived in excellent condition, free from scratches, discoloration, or damage, can fetch a pretty penny. So, if you happen to stumble upon a 1983 copper penny in pristine condition, you could be holding onto something truly valuable. To get an idea of just how much these rare coins can be worth, let's look at some of the sales. Over the years, some 1983 copper pennies have been sold at auction for impressive sums. In fact, depending on the condition and rarity, some of these pennies have been known to sell for between $58,000 to $62,000. That's right, up to $62,000 for a single penny. Who would have thought that a small copper coin could be worth such a fortune? Now, you might be wondering how to tell if you have a 1983 copper penny. The first thing to do is to check the weight. A typical 1983 penny made of zinc weighs about 2.5 grams, while a copper penny from the same year weighs 3.1 grams. If you have a 1983 penny that feels a bit heavier than normal, it could be a copper-plated error coin. Another method is to closely examine the color. Copper coins have a distinctive reddish-brown hue, whereas zinc pennies are much lighter and have a duller appearance. If you find one of these rare pennies in your collection, it's a good idea to get it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service. A grade of MS65 or higher, Mint State 65, is ideal, as it means the coin is in near-perfect condition and will be worth significantly more. Be sure to store it carefully, as the value will diminish if it is damaged or poorly preserved. So, what makes the 1983 copper penny so special beyond just its error? The fact that it represents a moment in U.S. history, when the mint was transitioning to a new form of penny, gives it historical significance. It's a coin that showcases the intricacies of the minting process and reminds us how small mistakes in mass production can lead to valuable collectibles. It's always exciting to think that something as simple as a 1-cent coin could be hiding a big surprise. If you happen to have a 1983 copper penny tucked away in your jar of change or coin collection, it could very well be your ticket to a small fortune. Remember, rarity, condition, and historical significance are what make this coin so valuable in the eyes of collectors. So, how much could a 1983 copper penny be worth? Depending on the condition and rarity of the coin, it could fetch anywhere from $58,000 to $62,000. That's right, up to $62,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that a coin worth just 1 cent could become such a valuable collector's item, but that's the beauty of the coin collecting world. You never know what treasures you might find. Top 3, we're focusing on something that's probably sitting in your spare change jar right now, the humble 1-cent coin from 1987, commonly known as the 1987 US penny. But here's the kicker, this coin might be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Stick with us as we explore the fascinating story behind this coin and how it could potentially earn you thousands of dollars. Let's take a step back and talk about the 1-cent coin itself. Since its inception in 1793, the penny has been a staple of American currency, representing a small but significant value in the world of coinage. The 1987 penny is no different, but it's its rarity and specific conditions that can make it a valuable asset for collectors. First, let's examine the history of the 1987 penny. During this year, the US Mint produced billions of pennies, meaning most 1987 coins you come across are probably not in pristine condition and don't hold much extra value. However, that's where the story gets interesting. While the production of these pennies was high, some unique aspects of certain coins, such as minting errors, can make a 1987 penny extremely desirable for collectors and numismatists. The 1987 penny has a fairly simple design, consistent with other coins of the era. The obverse features the well-known portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. It's a timeless symbol of American history and continues to represent the legacy of one of the country's most revered leaders. The reverse side features the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial, which has been used on the penny since 1959. It's a design full of history, but what sets the 1987 penny apart isn't necessarily the design, it's the potential condition and unique features some of these coins have. So, what exactly makes the 1987 penny special? Well, as with many coins, condition is key. Most pennies you encounter are worn down from years of circulation, but the ones that stand out in the world of coin collecting are those that have been preserved in nearly mint condition. This can include coins that were never released into general circulation or those that were stored properly and escaped the damage that often occurs with regular use, but there's more to the story. Some 1987 pennies have been found with rare minting errors, such as doubled dies or off-center strikes. These errors occur during the minting process and result in a coin that looks slightly different from the rest. These types of errors are highly prized by collectors, as they are often considered unique and hard to find. If you have a 1987 penny with a noticeable minting error, you may be sitting on a rare treasure. Now, you're probably wondering just how much one of these 1987 pennies could be worth. While the typical 1987 penny is valued at face value, just 1 cent, those that have been preserved in uncirculated condition or feature rare minting errors can be worth a lot more. In fact, a well-preserved 1987 penny with the right characteristics, especially those with minting flaws, could be worth an impressive sum. If you happen to find a 1987 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition or one with a rare error, you could see its value soar to an incredible $53,000 to $57,000. Yes, you heard that right, this seemingly ordinary coin could fetch you tens of thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and uniqueness. Imagine stumbling upon such a coin in your change or collection, it could change your life in an instant. So, how can you determine if your 1987 penny is worth such a high amount? First, take a close look at the condition. Does the coin have a sharp, clear image of Lincoln and the Lincoln Memorial, with little to no wear? If so, it could be a prime candidate for higher value. Next, examine the coin for any signs of minting errors. Are there any doubled letters or numbers? Does the design appear off-center? If so, you could have a highly sought-after error coin on your hands. Remember, the value of these coins is highly dependent on their condition, rarity, and demand among collectors. That's why it's always a good idea to have your coins professionally appraised if you think you found something special. Even if you're just starting out in coin collecting, a 1987 penny with the right characteristics can quickly become a centerpiece of your collection. To sum up, while the 1987 US penny may seem like just another ordinary coin, its rarity and the potential for minting errors or uncirculated conditions make it a hidden gem in the world of coin collecting. So, the next time you come across a 1987 penny, take a moment to examine it closely. You might just have a rare treasure on your hands worth an astonishing $53,000 to $57,000.